Perhaps many of us have once thought that when our hair turns gray, our children grow up, and our friends remain by our side, life after 65 will be peaceful and fulfilling. Yet, as time quietly passes, familiar faces become busy with their own worlds. And we, sometimes, find ourselves sitting silently in the same familiar house, listening to the ticking clock echoing through long, sleepless nights. The truth is, no matter how much we are loved, family cannot be our only support. After 65, what keeps you standing strong is not just your children or loved ones, but the pillars you build for yourself. In today's journey, I will accompany you to discover 8 silent but solid pillars, so that each passing day you will not just live, but live peacefully, fully, and freely. Pillar 1. Lifelong learning. Keeping your soul forever young. We often think that learning is for the young, when we are still in school or carrying the dreams of our 20s. But have you realized that after 65, learning is the very medicine that nourishes your soul? When the children have left the nest, when work is no longer a burden, we may ask ourselves, why should I still learn? The answer is simple. We learn to live more fully. Mrs. Ann, a woman in her 70s, spent many quiet days in a room full of memories, eyes fixed on the wall clock as if counting down meaningless days. Until one day, she picked up a paintbrush and tried to recreate the old garden from memory. And she burst into tears. Not out of sadness, but because she realized that her hands could still create, and her eyes could still be moved by beauty. Learning does not need to be grand. It doesn't require expensive courses or complicated skills. It could simply be learning to cook a new dish, learning to send a text to your grandchildren, or learning to plant a small flower pot on the porch. Every time you learn something new, you add a beautiful memory to your treasure chest, and you dare to open the door to let the light into your soul. And as long as you keep learning, you stay young. Not young in appearance, but young in spirit, in your eyes, and in the way you look at life. Pillar 2. A suitable living environment. A home that nurtures you every day. Some houses were once heavens, filled with the laughter of children and the warmth of family meals. But there are also houses that over the years become silent and cold, with only the wind blowing through old windows and the quiet ticking of a pendulum clock. Many elderly people live in their familiar homes, but feel like they are wandering in a foreign and inconvenient world. Mr. Luther, after his wife passed away and his children started their own families, found his once spacious house now echoing only with the sound of his slippers dragging on the tiled floor. The wooden stairs, once a playground for the grandchildren, now became a daunting challenge each time he went up or down. The old garden, where he and his wife once planted flowers, was now covered in weeds and fallen leaves. He never thought of himself as lonely until the suffocating feeling crept into his life day by day. A suitable living environment does not necessarily have to be a new or luxurious house. Sometimes it is the smallest things, a wide and safe walkway, a neat and easy-to-move-around bedroom, some greenery beside the porch, or a small garden with a few favorite flowers. Even small changes are enough to make you feel that your home is not just a house, but a place where you are still living, breathing, and continuing to write your life story. Because where we live is not just 4 walls, but a place to return to, a silent and enduring friend that embraces us through every season. Don't forget, the most touching part of this journey is yet to come. Pillar 7. Holds the precious treasures many tend to overlook. Stay with us to discover these wonders. Pillar 3. Financial stability. The friend that never leaves. There is a concern that many elders often keep to themselves. If one day I run out of money, who will take care of me? After 65, money is no longer just something to save or count, but the crown that shields you from sleepless nights, the roof that shelters you from life's unexpected storms. Mr. Robert, a man who lived wholeheartedly for his children, was willing to empty his savings to pay for their education and careers. He always thought that when he grew old, his children would take care of him. But when old age arrived, along with sudden illnesses, he realized that although his children loved him, they were also struggling with their own survival. Not wanting to be a burden, he quietly endured. The most priceless asset is not wealth, but careful preparation, a long-term plan, and a safe reserve. It is spending wisely, saving early, and preserving what you have instead of expecting someone else to take care of you. With financial stability, you won't have to bow your head to borrow, nor fear the pity in your children's eyes. You will have the right to choose, the right to live the way you want, and most importantly, you will know that you still hold the steering wheel of your life. Pillar 4. Health. The quiet but powerful ally. After 65, health is no longer just a physical matter. It is the bridge between freedom and dependence. You may have plenty of money and a beautiful house, but if your legs tremble, your joints ache, and your eyesight dims, you will clearly feel freedom slipping away each day. Mr. Ethelbert, once a strong and diligent man who managed everything for his family, within just 2 years after retirement, found himself unable to climb the stairs, restricted to a strict diet, and his travel dreams reduced to mere fantasies. His wife quietly took care of him, his children and grandchildren loved him, but the truth is, they couldn't walk for him, couldn't eat for him, and certainly couldn't fight time for him. Good health is a gift you only receive if you build it gradually. But the good news is, this is a pillar you can actively strengthen every day. As long as you can still move, even a little, do it for yourself. Walk every morning. Eat healthily. Listen to and take care of your body. A healthy body not only helps you live longer, but helps you live meaningfully, independently, and with dignity. Do you agree with Pillar 4? Leave a comment with number 4 to let us know. Pillar 5. Social circle. The bridge between hearts. If there is one thing that makes old age truly frightening, it is not sickness or poverty, but loneliness. How many of us have sat quietly during an offering or a family gathering, just waiting for the phone to ring? How many have clenched their fingers on the old gate, hoping someone would come and visit? Mrs. Callista, a mother who once lived entirely for her husband and children, now sits in her old room, accompanied only by the sound of wind through the cracks and the creaking of the rocking chair where she used to read newspapers. No one has forgotten her, but no one has enough time to visit often. And day by day, she quietly accepted that silence. But sometimes it only takes one brave step, stepping out of the house, joining a wellness class, meeting fellow seniors, sharing everyday stories, and laughing heartily over a cup of hot tea, to feel alive again. Mrs. Callista realized that family is not the only source of warmth, but friendships and kindred spirits can also rekindle the heart. A small story, a brief gathering, a hearty laugh with friends is enough to ease the quietness of the days to come. Pillar 6. Life purpose. The flame that never fades. What is more terrifying than pain or loneliness is the feeling that the days pass by without meaning. Many people after 65 live repetitive days, not knowing why they wake up, not knowing for whom they clean, take care of themselves, or even why they should smile. Mr. Henry, once a brilliant engineer after retiring, spent his days circling around his old tea set, counting down each quiet day. But then, he decided to teach the neighborhood kids how to fix bicycles. Their eyes lit up listening to his stories, and his hands, though no longer swift, were still skilled with precious experience. And for the first time in many years, he realized, I am still alive, and I am still useful. Your life purpose doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes it is just tending to a plant, knitting a scarf, cooking a meal for yourself, or simply wishing to share stories with someone. With a purpose, you will no longer fear loneliness or illness because you know you are still writing the final chapters of your life with love and joy. If you agree with Pillar 6, please comment the number 6 to let us know. Pillar 7. Emotional resilience, the root of inner peace. After 65, pain does not only come from the body, but also from the wounds of the soul. Losing a spouse, friends passing away, children becoming too busy, and the empty spaces in our hearts grow larger. Many choose silence, burying all the pain inside, and gradually that pain becomes part of their life. They live in rooms full of memories, their eyes lingering on old photographs, and sighs filling their nights. Mrs. Fair, a 68-year-old woman who lost her husband after more than 40 years of marriage, once fell into despair. In the early days, she locked herself away, speaking to no one, quietly living with old memories. She withdrew into her own darkness, where old love letters and mementos became sharp thorns piercing her soul every time she touched them. Yet she also knew that if she did not stand up herself, no one could pull her out of that darkness. Thanks to a support group of people in similar situations, she began to share, to record her feelings in a journal. Gradually, she learned to accept the reality that pain does not simply vanish, but she could live with it, gently and peacefully. Emotional resilience is not about suppressing or pretending to be strong, but about daring to face, to cry, to grieve, and then to smile again and continue living. Because no one can heal our wounds except ourselves. When you develop emotional resilience, you will realize that although life still has sadness, there are countless beautiful things waiting. And once you learn to walk through the pain, you will realize that your heart still has enough room for joy, for hope, and for the sweet things of the remaining days. Pillar 8. Adaptability. Flexibility to stay unbroken. Life is constantly changing, and in old age, changes tend to come more suddenly. Old friends disappear, children are no longer around as often, health declines, and old habits may no longer suit the present. Some people choose to resist change, closing themselves off more and more, but others choose to adapt, rekindling the fire that warms their solitary days. Mr. Gabriel, now 74, felt lost when his close friends gradually passed away. Every morning he would sit by the window, looking out at the gate, hoping someone would come by. But only the wind and scattered sunlight danced on the ground. However, instead of giving up, he chose to learn to use a smartphone, video call his great-grandchildren, join online clubs, and even participate in an archaeological writing group to discuss history. His retirement days, once quiet and uneventful, became filled with laughter, stories, and new joys. Adaptability not only helps us continue, but also helps us rediscover ourselves in a new form and way of living. When you accept change, you will see that after every closed door, there are still countless other doors opening, waiting for you to step in with excitement and peace. Because life never takes everything away from anyone. As long as you know how to look and accept, you will always find a path, a light for yourself. Old age is not a sad ending, but the most profound and valuable chapter. Perhaps you no longer have swift feet, bustling family dinners, or carefree laughter like in the past, but instead, you now have time, stillness, and experience to live for yourself. The 8 pillars we have walked through together are not just advice, but new baggage to help you stand firm amid life's harshest changes. When you actively take care of your health, build financial security, nourish your soul, and embrace adaptability, you are not merely existing, you are truly living. And living not to wait for anyone, but to smile every morning, feeling deep inside, I am still precious. If these words reach your heart, please don't hesitate to leave a comment and follow this channel. Turn on the notification bell. We will meet again to share more beautiful stories of the golden years. If these words have touched you, don't just scroll away. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you felt, which story moved you the most. And don't forget to follow the channel and turn on notifications, because you and I, we still have many stories to share in the days to come.